Something tells me that you watched Arcane and you want to learn how to make Ambessa's mask. Well, this is the tutorial for you. I'm going to show you exactly how I made this mask using only 3mm EVA foam. All right, so if you're interested in getting a mask of your very own, stay tuned. I'll walk you through the entire process. All the patterns that you're going to see me use in this tutorial are available right on my website. The link will be in the bio of this video. So without further ado, let's get to making this mask. All right, guys, so this is the blueprint essentially for my Ambessa mask pattern. This is to give you guys sort of a visual representation so you have an idea of where all these individual pattern pieces go and how everything comes together. All right, so the first piece is your forehead piece, right? And that goes here, okay? For the purposes of this video, I'm going to remove it just so that you could see where the additional forehead pieces fall on top of this one. But just for you to understand, this is going to be the first piece that you'll be working off of. On top of that, we are going to be putting pattern pieces A and B. Now, these pieces are supposed to be mirrored, so you're just going to get half of it, and it's going to be mirrored this way. All right, so pattern piece A goes here. You're going to mirror it. Of course, it's all going to be one piece, so this entire thing will be pattern piece A. Similarly, for pattern piece B, it's going to be mirrored as well. All right, and it goes below A like this. So this entire thing will be pattern piece A, and this entire thing will be pattern piece B. And these go on top of your forehead piece like so. All right, moving right along, we are going to go to the nose, which is represented by pattern piece N. Again, this is a mirrored piece, but in this case, we do want to still keep the seam line down the middle, so they will be cut separately, okay? So pattern piece N is going to be one piece on this side and one piece on the other side. However, to get that lovely 3D effect of the nose being raised up from the mask, as you can see here on a kind of finished version of the nose, there is an additional piece that goes along the side. All right, so that's going to look like this pattern piece here. It's going to be like an L, and you're going to then attach that along the side of pattern piece N to give it that 3D effect. Moving on, finally, to the bottom part of the mask, that is represented by pattern pieces 1 through 4, and they will be placed just like so. So pattern piece 1 goes here, pattern piece 2 goes there, followed by pattern piece 3, and you're not going to see pattern piece 4 really represented on this blueprint, but that goes here, and that's because it's going to push all of these pattern pieces forward to give it a nice 3D effect. And last but certainly not least, we have the side cheeks, all right, which will be coming underneath these pattern pieces here, all right? Those look like this. It's an L shape followed by this, and when you put it together, you then get this, all right, which is a lovely cheek piece that goes to the side. All right, so this is one in foam. I'm going to show you more of like a complete piece that I did out of foil so you could kind of see it. And these two pieces then go along the cheek on the side like so. All right. So now that you have a visual idea of how everything comes together, let me show you how we're actually going to prepare all the individual pieces and get the mask done. Okay, so what you're seeing here is me transposing the patterns onto 3mm foam. I got everything to fit on 2 pieces of foam, roughly 8.5 by 11 inches in size, with a lot more space here to spare, just in case you make a mistake, so you don't need a lot of foam to do this. What is to note is how I laid out the pieces. All of the smaller pieces, I have to have 2 of them, right? Because you have to have a right side and a left side. However, for the pieces like the forehead piece, you only need 1 of them, right? But for pieces A and B, you would have seen that I mirrored them here. So I'm going to cut it as 1 piece out, right? And that also is going to be for the forehead piece here. So the forehead piece, basically, you only need 1 of each, but everything else, you need need to double up because you need to have both a right side and a left side. I'm now going to cut everything out with an X-Acto knife, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright guys, so we're here with the forehead piece, and as described before, we have cut out A and we have cut out B by mirroring the sides and then cutting A out as one piece, similarly B out as one piece. Alright, we are now going to attach A to B like this before sticking it onto the forehead piece like this. However, if we were to do it just like this, this seam line here would lay flat, and we don't want that. We actually want that seam to protrude a little bit and to give us a little bit of an angle. And the easiest way to do that is to bevel the edge or one of these edges, so that when we now combine the two seams together, it will give us a little bit of an angle like that, which is what we're looking for. How people usually do this is they could make the cut here with a box cutter, or there are some bevel cutters that just automatically will cut this for you at a particular angle. I don't have any of that right now, but I do have a Dremel, and I find that the Dremels give me a lot more control over the precise angle of the bevel than cutting. At least that works well for me, especially with thin foam like this. So I'm going to go ahead and bevel that edge and show you guys what we're going to be working with. Okay, so off camera, I would have put on some contact cement on both edges here. So we're just gonna line it up in the middle at that angle. And then carefully connect the edges together. Like that. Make sure that they line up perfectly. So next we're going to use this part as a guide, and we are going to stick A and B down to the forehead part, leaving this elevated part for the forehead down the middle, like that. All right, so I'll do that off camera. Cool, so now we have A and B down. We're gonna move on to the nose, and similarly, we wanna maintain the integrity of this seam coming down the middle, but we want it to be raised a little bit. So again, I'm going to come here with the Dremel and just Dremel it at an angle, stick it on, and then we'll move on. You have this, and you can see a really nice spine in the middle. That's exactly what we were looking for. Now we're gonna take the side pieces and attach them like this, okay, along the side of the nose to get this 3D effect that we have here with this nose. In order to do that, you once again have to bevel the inside here so that this piece could then, you know, slip at a nice angle to the bottom here. All right, so gonna do that and come back on camera. You can see the mask is beginning to come together a little bit. I finished the nose. I would have glued the notches together, which has already given the nose a bit more of a nice, sharp and angular appearance. This is then going to be beveled on one of these seams and attached to a similar seam like what we did here. It's gonna look nice, raised and angular. But before we can do that, we have to finish the bottom of the mask, all right? And how to do that is really, really simple. We're going to take the two number 1 patterns and just stick them together. Nothing fancy, no beveling of the seam, just a straight seam, and we're going to stick them together. The reason we did not cut it out as one piece is because visually we still want to see that there's a seam there, all right? But we don't want this seam to be raised, angled, or beveled in any way. So that's just going to come together like this. However, every other seam is going to be beveled, okay? So we're going to bevel this seam here on pattern piece 1 and 2 and stick it together. That's going to give it a nice angle. Similarly, we're going to bevel this seam to this seam between patterns 2 and 3, get it at a nice angle. And then lastly, between this seam, and 4 here, 3 and 4, we're going to bevel it. Boom, stick it together, right? So I'm going to do all of this off camera and come back and show you what it looks like and move on to the next step. Okay, so off camera you would see that I finished up the bottom piece. What is to note here is how and the angle that I would have beveled each individual piece. You would see the crease going this way and then that way. I hope visually you could kind of see what it is I tried to do here. So the whole bottom piece is now finished. Off camera as well, I would have attached the nose to the top piece, as you can see here. So now what's left is just to attach the bottom piece to the top. That's really easy and simple. And what we're going to do is stick the bottom part to the top part. Let's go under the nose like that. And this line along here, we're going to match it up to this angle for the eye across here. Just like so, right? And we're going to do the same thing on this side, and then this is going to be pulled down to here, and that's going to get stuck down to there. So I hope you could kind of visualize the shape that's going to form. I'm going to stick everything down together and come back and show you what it looks like completed. So as you can see, I stuck everything on and we now have more or less a completed face mask for your Ambessa cosplay. The pieces that are missing are the 2 cheek pieces. So I'm going to show you exactly how to bevel and put those together in the next step. All right, so as you can see, we have all the finished pieces here together. I would have done the cheek pieces. You could see the slight little bend and angle that we got from beveling just this part. You are not gonna bevel here and here. It's not necessary. You're just beveling from here to give it that nice curve so that it kind of hugs the curve of your face a bit more. To put this on to here, what you now have to do is try on the mask. All right, and while you have the mask on, you're then going to try to figure out where and at what angle this needs to be stuck underneath it here to suit your particular face and your face shape, like whatever is the most flattering to you. So you try this on and you mark where you need, whatever angle you need to do it at to attach these 2 pieces to the bottom here. Bam, 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 and boom, you have a finished mask. The raised details you see above the eyes were added after with foam clay for more depth and accuracy, so feel free to add any details you want to make the mask more your own. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that it was really helpful to you, to some of you making this costume. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you do use my patterns or any of my tutorials, also please tag me. I would love to see what everybody creates using them. And if you still haven't watched Arcane, go watch it now, like just X out of this video and go watch it. Go. Bye.